And that's how we met. Crowded room. He looked like a bunch of lights to me, but I knew he was the one. Well, it's been an interesting year. I'll talk just briefly about what's going on. You heard some of it from Scott in terms of the comic book world. There is another miniseries as well that he hasn't told you about because I haven't told him about it yet. But we are definitely going to be moving full steam ahead with the various verses. And Dark Horse, as always, is just about the best studio to work for. So I'm so grateful to them. Another favorite studio of mine is me. And because I think I really get it. I get what an artist needs, and, I really treat myself well. And, I just feel that I'm very supportive. And 2 days ago, I'm very happy to say, we actually finished post-production on Much Ado About Nothing. This is a very important thing to me. I cannot wait to show you people this movie. I don't know how I'm going to do that because we are submitting it to some festivals and hopefully somebody will purchase it and put it in theaters. I don't know. If that doesn't work, check iTunes. We'll find some way to get it to you. I am so proud of everybody in it, most of whom you will be familiar with. You're going to see just people you love rocking Shakespeare so hard. It is really, really exciting. It's a weird little piece, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been a great experience for me, one of the greatest. Partially because I did something that I've never done before, and when I've never done something before, it's very terrifying, and when I'm terrified, then I know I'm having fun. I wrote the score, so it's my first film score. And if it's terrible, then, well, it was my first. Leave me alone. So that's been taking up my time, and we finished. And it was very exciting. And that meant that I, didn't have anything that I had to do. So 45 minutes in, I became terrified. And instantly got together with Jed Whedon, Zach Whedon, Mirza Tancharon Whedon, and started talking about Dr. Horrible 2. And we decided against it. We're gonna do 3 prequels, but they're gonna suck. Yes, we have been working on it over the years, and it's years, I'm embarrassed to say, and it was really a meeting about how to move forward and also about how much we have, and the work that they've been doing and that we've been doing separately is really exciting. We got a bunch of songs, we know exactly where we're going. I can't wait to tell you more about it. I'm not going to do it now, but it's coming along, and so that's actually going to start happening sometime, possibly in the spring. Some of the actors in it are very successful, which is a curse and a blessing. So, but hopefully we'll be putting that up soon, and I am going directly from Comic-Con to London to meet with Warren Ellis to talk about Wastelanders. So, in the big picture, what's up for me, I have no idea. It's a good kind of fear, I think. But in the macro, in the little picture, the stuff that's coming is very, very, very exciting. Because I'm working with the smartest people I know, and it's the kind of entertainment that not only do we create on our own terms, but we distribute it on our own terms, which means you guys get to see it in order. Now, Scott was not lying when he said I had not prepared anything to say. I would love to have prepared something to say. If I did, I said it 17 times already today. I have not stopped talking since I left this panel. That was earlier today, which is why I'm starting to sound like Elaine Stritch. So, I'm going to say that we should probably go ahead and introduce the question portion, where you guys ask very long, detailed, complicated questions, and I get to answer at least some of them, possibly in mime. You know, what is it like to work at Fox? So, without further, let's have a question, please.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I just want to say thank you so much for continuing the Buffyverse in the comics. It's my favorite TV show ever, and season 9 is awesome. So I was just wondering, I love Andrew Chambliss and Scott Alley's writing, but were you going to write any of season 9 or season 10?
First of all, enormous props to both those guys for taking over what was going to be somewhat more collaborative. Andrew and I laid out exactly what we wanted to happen in the season, and then a few issues in, my brain exploded. And he took over in an extraordinarily manful fashion, and the stuff he's doing has such integrity and rhythm and humor, and he just, you know, he was not a Buffy writer, but he sure is now, and I'm really grateful to both of them. I definitely think the most important involvement that I have is in the big picture stuff, the structure, where are we going with this character, who needs to be highlighted, who needs to be together, you know, what are we going to do? That's where, you know, the idea stuff, being in the room, which we don't get into very often, but, you know, breaking it down, that's the most important. When I can, I love to write it. It's like a little vacation for me, and, you know, I'm certainly due for a vacation. But in the main, I'm very grateful that now I have this extraordinary stable of people that I can trust with not only Buffy, but Angel and Faith and all of the things coming up.
So two of the biggest things at Comic-Con are obviously you and Zombie Apocalypse. So you touched on a little bit of the Reavers, but I'm curious, if you were to write a Zombie Apocalypse graphic novel, series, whatever, what would be your unique twist besides killing off all of our favorite characters?
Long live Walsh!
How many minutes before we get to that one? My first question is, the biggest thing at the con is the zombie apocalypse. Is there actually one happening? Is there what?
Petco Park.
Sorry?
In Petco Park.
Oh, okay. I'm really sorry. Zombie apocalypses show up in most of the stuff I do, and in fact, in a lot of the stuff I haven't done yet. And my unique twist usually is that you know, I think that we assume we know where they're coming from, and the thing that interests me the most about people is that what they assume is their worst trait and what they assume is their best are so often intermingled, or in fact the same thing. And so I feel like, you know, you look at like the rage zombies from 28 Days Later, it's like, well, that's fine. Yeah, that's terrible, but I'm more interested in like our best intentions and how they turn us into horrible zombies. Because let's face it, gotta have zombies. Gotta have a zombie apocalypse. Everybody wants one, it's fun. But for me, the twist is, where does it come from? It's not something where you go, oh, you know, just shoot the head, it's all gonna be all right. I mean, what if you had a zombie apocalypse and, you know, there was a chance that you could actually cure them, and then you couldn't just shoot them in the head, but they were still out there trying to kill you? I would like to complicate it. I think they become popular a little bit because they are fodder. because you can mow them down and it's okay. Like in the 80s, that was foreigners. But now it's zombies or robots or, so I think I would like to, investigate not being able to take the easy way out of that situation. And then kill people that you love. No, I mean people that you love, like your family, because
Hey, would you ever consider going back into television?
I wasn't actually in the television. See, they broadcast. It's not little people. A lot of people make the mistakes. Absolutely, I love television. I think not only is it one of the most extraordinary mediums, but let's face it, most of the great storytelling that's being done on screens in America is being done on the television. So. Would I would like to jump back in that pool? I would. It's a huge commitment. I'm in the business now of figuring out which huge commitment is my next. So I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, TV rules, man.
Hi. You mentioned Jason Palmer and that fan art you have at your house. There's a lot of interest in film art, and I'm wondering whether you'd ever consider having a gallery official collection of art available for purchase, especially from Firefly and Dr. Horrible. Like, from a bunch of artists.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if I make money off this. Because of the meaning. They shouldn't let me do these things when I'm tired. They did something at Gallery, 1988, and a lot of people did some cool interpretations of stuff. It comes up now and again. We don't have any official sort of Firefly art store. All of this stuff is sort of tied up with likeness approval and licenses from whichever studio actually has the rights today, and so it's not something that I actively pursue just because it seems like it would become difficult in a way that is not interesting, but I agree that it should happen. I'm for it. Sorry? A lot of interest, okay. But like money? All right. Well, if I find out you're selling it on the black market, I'm gonna kill that guy's family. This is just getting weird. This is gonna be a very dark panel. It's like I'm always trying to get you guys to love me, love my story. Let's stop that. Let's tell the truth. I think I'm awesome. I pretend I don't, okay? I think I secretly invented television, and that I am, like, enormously handsome and have a full and lustrous head of hair. Okay. But enough about you.
Hi, Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Considering we all love your work from Buffy to Avengers, like Druggies on Crack, now that producers are probably more open to your work because of the success of the Avengers, is there any of your unrealized projects you want to go back to from before?
It's come up. I'm not, it always sounds weird coming from me because of the comics and the movie and the reboot. I'm not actually a big go-back guy. Once I've told a story, even if it wasn't realized, there's something it's happened. That relationship has run its course, and there are definitely some stories that are still in me that sort of almost got out there, but I kind of tend to look forward. And so I think the next thing that I create will be something that I haven't created yet. I got some ideas. I got some thoughts.
Yeah!
Yes, and then I got applause for being able to think. Okay? This is the best crowd ever. Watch, I can also watch. Is he some kind of Superman? Some Ubermensch? Because I seem to be walking and talking. Does anybody have any gum? No? Okay, please.
Hi, I first want to say I'm a huge fan of all your work, including your walking. I want to know which medium is your favorite, comics, television, or movies?
Yes. It's an absolute yes. They are so different, but they are all storytelling. And, you know, again, working on that score was a different way of communicating than I ever have before, but it was the same thing. It was writing. It was writing very specific emotional moments, and that's the only thing that I want to do with my life, is create emotional moments, and I do not care where.
Okay. Why are we not allowed to bounce the Wonderflonium?
Do you want a zombie apocalypse? Jesus. You know, take a science class, kid. But you can dribble it.
Hey, Joss. My name's Robert.
I'm sorry, were you waiting for the long emotional version answer? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
God damn you.
My apologies.
Dark now. I'm dark. This is like the Frank Miller version of me. Oh, dark.
I'm an aspiring, I'm a failed comedian, and I've turned to stripping, and my question is, what tips would you have for struggling artists, writers, to advance their careers or creative projects?
Well, if you're stripping, why did you start with your shins? That would be my first. I mean, are they your best feature? They're very attractive. But I already met a guy over here, I think. So I'm very sort of monogamous. Honestly, my advice is the kind of advice that will make you want to slap me, but it's always just make them yourself. Put it online, shoot it with your phone, do it with your friends, get up some live stuff. Right now, we live in a completely different world than we did. And the good and the bad are completely together. It's like the music industry. On the one hand, there's the fortress, it's entrenched, and only 3 people can get in there, and everything is high stakes. With the movies, they're literally, somebody said this phrase to me, eliminating the middle movie. They don't want to make the middle budget sort of prestige film. They just want the tentpole or Paranormal Activity. They want everything or they want to risk nothing. This is actually a problem. This has been a continuing problem, and it's getting worse. Luckily, I would never add to that problem. Oh, I have become the enemy. I was the enemy. So it really is about the DIY. It is about, you know, you have to make it happen yourself. You have to make yourself notice. You have to keep working at it because A, it's fun. B, the more product you get out there, the better you get at it. And with the technology that exists today, anybody can do it. Anybody. Don't get me wrong. If you happen to be friends with Nathan Fillion, it makes it better. When you see Nathan Fillion's Dogberry, that's it. That book is closed. That guy owns that role forever. It's going to be amazing. But even without a Nathan, there's so much you can do now, and you have to, because it's getting harder and harder to get to a place where you can do it for somebody else. And not that that's not still going on. People still make shows. People still write specs. People still, are coming up in the industry. But for me, when you If you want to make something and you just write it, then it's just written. If you can write it and then you can make it, assuming it doesn't have, a zombie apocalypse. Well, actually, the zombie apocalypse is pretty cheap. You get your friends to look shitty and they run after you. So there's really not much you can't do.
Hi, Josh. Big fan. I was wondering, what inspires you as a writer to write in so many genres of movies and television? Because you've done like horror, fantasy, westerns, sci-fi. I mean, I was just wondering, what's your inspiration behind all that?
Excuse me. When I was a kid, my family used to make fun of me all the time because, well, they just did. But one of the reasons was that I loved every movie I saw. All of them, equally. No matter what. Oh my God, and then he kills Jaws with the power line, and it's just as good as the first one. Like, I just loved them. And that's the thing, is that I really do. I think, my education was very much divided by genre. The great classes I took were musicals, westerns, noir, and so understanding those genres as well as I was able to with the teachers I had really hit home how they worked in a way that really spoke to me. But at the end of the day, I just love movies. I just love stories, and I love every aspect of them. And anybody can tell that when I'm writing something that's horror, it's going to be funny, and when I'm writing something that's dramatic, someone's going to sing, and because I also have ADD. Hey, it's not funny, okay? I'm living with it.
My favorite characters of yours are always the evil ones, like Lila Morgan. How do you write your evil characters so they're still relatable and likable to your audiences?
Well, everybody loves a villain for one thing. But the thing that hit me was Willem Dafoe. And I find very often actors articulate things as well or better than writers do about the process. And somebody asked him when he had done The Last Temptation of Christ and right after To Live and Die in LA, what do you like better, playing a hero or a villain? And he said, there is no difference, everybody thinks they're righteous. And for me, that was like, click moment. If they believe what they are doing, if they believe what they are saying, if they are not just there to be wrong, then they're going to be interesting. And because they're evil, they're going to be fun. So you take the combination of the reality of the fact that not any one of us is just one thing, and nobody is pure evil except for a couple of guys, or pure good except for me. And remember how I invented TV? And then you mix that up. It makes a fun dish. I will say, a big moment for me was when I wrote the scene where Angel has slept with Buffy for the first time, and then in his evil acts like he's just a cad blowing her off. And honestly, I put down my pen in amazement and was like, I had no idea I was such a douche dazzle. Like, I couldn't believe that I could even have him say these things. He was so awful, and I was having so much fun with it. We all want that release. We all want to be a little bit evil. Or we want the license to be evil. A little bit.
God, this is going on a Facebook status later. First, I want to thank you for making such a strong female role growing up too with Buffy. And then your astonishing X-Men series is the reason why I love comics today.
If only you had some kind of visual clue.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Know that about you.
With all of your amazing things, because you have said you're awesome before, I'm just wondering, what are you most proud of? Like, when you look back on your life, what is going to really stick out to you?
I assume we're talking about the work. Hopefully it's something I haven't written yet, would be my first answer. But there are certain things that that you know, they revolve. Obviously, for example, The Body, I think, is the best episode of television I've ever. But there are things, you know, particularly in Astonishing X-Men, where I hit on some truths about humanity that I didn't understand until I wrote them. And I think that's the thing, you know, whether or not stuff lives on years from now, whether or not 5 people read it, or in my case, sometimes as many as 5,000. It's the things where you write something and you find something out while you're writing it, when the characters start teaching you. And for me, Astonishing X-Men particularly Emma's story, her arc, as well as the Danger arc that comes before it, is about the idea of people always working at cross purposes, that basically just through consciousness, but also through the structure of our society, we are told 2 completely different things. We are given 2 different directives that we are constantly trying to accomplish. And that kind of confusion and dissonance and self-sabotage, to me, is the essence of what makes us human, and in my case, incredibly pathetic. And I think that, you know, I honestly didn't understand that until I was writing a comic book about it. So those are the things that really have really stuck with me, are the things where I started to grow up a little bit, because my characters helped me to.
Hi, Joss. I like that you